Hey everyone, welcome back to Ideas and Impact. Today I'm joined with Kelley Gilberry, and Kelly's a coach that specializes in a specific area of helping people uh, with their nutrition through being a vegan. And he's got a great story and a great transformation of how he's been able to improve his own health. And I'm going to have him share a little bit about that. And then he shared three big ideas with me around that I think you all would find very, very helpful. So before we dive into three big ideas, Kelley, for those that maybe are not familiar with you yet, would you mind sharing just a little bit about your background and your coaching business?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Kelly. I've been a coach a little over a year now. About a year ago or so, actually a couple of years ago, I was in the worst shape of my life. So I decided to make a change in the right direction and become a health coach. Right. I saw a lot of tragedy in my life, and with that, I decided to become a health coach and a certified nutritionist, but specifically on the plant-based side. So anything plants, I specialize in.
Excellent. Well, good stuff. Just so we make sure we have enough time for each one, because I know you've got a lot of really good stuff to share. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first big idea you shared with me is healing the body naturally through power of plant-based nutrition, and your story about the weight you lost and that transformation. So let's go ahead and dive right into this one if you want to share your story first.
Right. So healing the power through plant-based nutrition. Like I said, a couple of years ago, I was in the worst shape of my life. Went to the doctor, and the doctor gave me the news that on this doctor's visit, you have pre-diabetes and you also have heart disease on the very same doctor's visit. So keep in mind, my mother had just passed away from heart disease. She passed away suddenly. She was here one day and gone the next day from a heart attack. Right. So that kind of threw some shockwaves through my system. Then a year later, my uncle passed away from cancer. Right. So I saw both sides of death. I saw how death will take you out quickly, and I saw how death will take you out very, very slowly, from a strong person to a very, very weak and frail person. So when I got the doctor's visit, when I went to the doctor's visit and they said, hey, you have pre-diabetes, heart disease, very same day, I decided I was going to make a change. I made that change. And the more and more research I did, the more and more I kept getting pointed back to it's the food, it's the food, it's the food. So with that, I was in the worst shape of my life. I was 50 pounds overweight, pre-diabetes, heart disease, very same doctor's visit. My cholesterol was almost 300. So I decided I'm not going to go out like this. My mother just passed away, so I have to make a change. Just got diagnosed with this thing called angina. Angina is where basically it's precursor for a heart attack. So I decided, well,
Mm.
what are human beings are supposed to eat? So the more and more research I did, went back to school and learned it's the food, it's the food, it's the food. But what about the food? It's the wrong fuel source. We continue to put the wrong fuel source into our body. The standard American diet makes up 90% of that is diesel fuel. Diesel fuel is basically it's the wrong fuel source. 60% processed, 30% animal products, 10% from fruits and vegetables. Right? It actually should be the opposite. I figured this out in my transformation. So I ended up losing 70 pounds, reverse pre-diabetes, and my cholesterol went to a normal range in less than a year. So that is the path that I teach folks now. I teach people, hey, listen, you don't have to take medication for the rest of your life. The plants are the medicine, and the medicine is the plants. You take that nature, the plants from nature, plants come from nature. So if you put nothing but nature into your body, guess what? Your body will heal itself naturally. So I'm a type of person, I love to do experiments. So I just say, okay, well, let me do this experiment on myself. I did the experiment and I didn't change anything about myself. I didn't change my workouts. I didn't change anything. The only thing that I changed was my fuel source. I went from the diesel fuel to the unleaded fuel, which is plant-based diet, right? Human beings are designed to eat plants. And that's what I discovered. And then that's how my body transformed.
Yeah, that's incredible. Um, So a quick point on this, and then we'll move to the next one because it has to do about the food you eat as well. So how do you work with people on like how to prepare? Because most people, I know even myself, like I went to this where I wasn't eating great and then I started to improve that. Sometimes it's tough to, like, you should be eating fruits and vegetables, but like pairing it, like people are just not used to preparing so much with just plants, like what you're suggesting. So what do you recommend on that, on getting started with just the preparation, so it's not like boring to eat salads constantly. What do you recommend there?
So it's definitely get out to get some variety. You got to understand, start learning the plant-based varieties. The thing I like to do is called building your bowl. So they're called Buddha bowls. So you take all these different vegetables. You take 7 to 10 of your favorite vegetables, and you put them together in a bowl, and you add a sauce to it. So you're going to have your grains. You're going to have your beans. You're going to have your proteins in there. You're going to have your green leafies in there. So you're going to have a bunch of stuff in there, and it's called a big Buddha bowl. So you make those bowls and you make them as colorful as you like. So 7 to 10 of your favorite vegetables, or 7 to 10 of your favorite recipes, right? So you learn a new recipe. So one week you may learn a new recipe. You take that recipe and you capture it. The next week you learn a new recipe. Then you learn a new recipe. Then you learn a new recipe. After a while, after the weeks go by, you've got quite a few recipes in your repertoire. So you can start using that and start building off of that, right?
Creating your own variety.
Yeah,
right?
building your own. You got to find out what you like, because there's over
Right.
240,000 edible plants. So there's no way that I can like what you like and you like what I like, right? So it's all about discovering your taste buds, discovering what you like, and discovering how your body thrives on specific plants.
Yeah. And then when you say the Buddha bowl, I've never heard that term before. I like that idea. Give me an example again of like, and what would the sauce be? And then like 7 like good starting vegetables that you would mix in there.
That means you're going to start with a base, like a quinoa. You can start with a quinoa, a brown rice, and then you're going to get your green leafies, right? So you have your grains, then you get your green leafies. So you can have kale, spinach, things of that nature. And then you can get your protein. You can start adding some beans, right? Chickpeas, red beans, black beans. And then you can start getting your non-starchy vegetables, bell peppers of all different types of colors, zucchini, a squash, all these different types of vegetables, and then the sauce. So you can make your own sauce. You can either buy your own sauce or make your own sauce. I love to make this cilantro sauce. So cilantro, water, and then a couple of other spices that you put in there, put it in the blender, and it's an amazing sauce. So I make a lot of my own sauces a lot of the times. It takes a couple of minutes. Once you get the science down and once you get the understanding of, what your taste buds like, it's pretty easy after that. So you can make endless sauces.
Oh, that's great. That was really, really helpful. That just at least a starter. I'm sure there's a lot of variety to it, but you gave some great examples for a starter there. So let's go to the second one. Second big idea is how to lose weight without ever counting your calories or with weighing your food. This is so good because this is common. Like first thing you hear with like a trainer or something normally is like your calories. So talk about this one.
So the question I like to pose back to people when they talk about calories and counting their macros, there are so many millions, other animals in there. We got cows, lions, tigers, bears, right? All these different animals, right? But there's only 3 species that are overweight. And what do you think these 3 species are that are overweight, Jeremy?
That are overweight?
3 species.
Gosh. I don't even know.
Okay.
Hippos? I don't know. I'm just thinking of like the biggest animal I could think of. I don't know.
Yeah, those are large animals. A hippo is a large animal. A shark's a large animal. A whale is an elephant's a large animal. But guess what? They're not overweight.
Yeah.
They're large animals, but they're not overweight.
Yeah.
At all.
So I guess the point is there's not a whole lot of like obese, overweight animals.
Within nature, there's none.
Yeah.
There's absolutely none in nature, right? And there's three species that are overweight, and I'll let you guess what those 3 species are. First one is human beings. Do you know any overweight human beings?
Yeah, for sure.
How many? Yeah,
all the time. You see them in the wild all the time.
Yeah. 70% of the population is either overweight or obese. The American population is 70% is either overweight or obese, right? Why is that? None of these animals out in nature count their own calories, but yet they're not overweight. Human beings are overweight, but yet we count our calories all day, every day. Okay, there's 2 other animals that are overweight. What do you think those 2 are? You don't have to look far. Who lives with the humans?
The house pets.
The dogs. You ever seen an overweight dog?
Yeah.
Okay. A cat. You ever seen an overweight cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the 3 species that are overweight. What's the common denominator?
Wow.
What's the common
Wow.
denominator?
The food that is served to those three.
90% of the standard American diet is diesel fuel, right? 60% processed, 30% animal products, right?
Yeah.
So we eat the wrong fuel source. So our body responds in a negative way. It goes the opposite way. It inflates inflammation, right? And and we give our dogs the wrong fuel. We give our cats the wrong fuel, right? There are no animals within nature. There is not a wolf in nature that you can go up and say, oh, this wolf died of cancer. There's dogs that die of cancer every day. There's cats that die of cancer every day. There's no wolf, lion, tigers, bears in nature that are gonna die from cancer, right? There's no animal within nature that's gonna have diabetes, right? So counting calories is irrelevant. Once you eat the natural fuel source that your body is intended to have, guess what? You don't have to count calories. During my 70-pound weight loss, when I reversed pre-diabetes and I reversed heart disease, you know how many calories I counted? 0. You know how many times I weighed my food? 0. Simply because I understood, like I said, the more research that I did, I understood you put the right fuel source into your natural fuel source into your body, counting calories is irrelevant. So that's what I discovered.
Yeah, man, great points there. All right, so I know there's a lot to number 3, so I want to make sure we have enough time here. Big idea number 3 is what you say, what are the laws of nature? How human anatomy gives us clues and tells us exactly what we're supposed to be eating.
Correct. Just like the scenario, I'll piggyback off of that scenario I gave you about the animals in nature, right? The animals in nature, it's kind of like this. Lions and tigers and bears, what do you see them eating all the time?
Lions and tigers and bears eating other animals.
Yeah, they're eating other animals. And what do you see cows and deers and all these different other animals are eating?
Eating plants.
They're plants. They're herbivores. So you got herbivores and you got carnivores.
Yep.
Human beings fall into the herbivore category. We don't want to admit that we fall into the herbivore category, but everything about human anatomy says that you're a plant eater. Everything from your teeth, you have flat teeth, everything, and your teeth go from side to side in a grinding motion, meaning that it's meant to grind up vegetation. If you look at a lion, if you look at a normal dog, their teeth go up and down. I don't know if you're a football fan, but you ever seen the Florida Gators, the fans in the stands, what they're doing?
I didn't notice.
They're doing the chomp, right? It's called the chomp.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the Florida Gators, they're doing the chomp. And what's their hands doing? It's going up and down, up and down. That's because an alligator, that's because they know that an alligator is a carnivore. An alligator's teeth go up and down. And human beings go side to side, just like a cow, right? So it's kind of like this. When you eat a piece of chicken, let's just say if you eat a chicken drumstick, this is nature. This is nature I'm talking about. Nature says, you eat a chicken drumstick, what are we eating? We eat the soft part, right? We eat the soft part, and what's left? What's left is the bone. And what do we do with the bone?
Throw it away.
Throw it away. Why do we throw it? We either throw it away. Why do we throw it away?
Because it's not natural to be chomping and chewing up bones, just
exactly
right.
Because that's nature. That's nature telling you, say, hey, Mr. Human Being or Mrs. Human Being, you're a human being. You cannot eat a bone. Your teeth. I did not design you that way. I did not make you right. I did not design. That's the reason that you throw it away. Or B, you give it to your dog. You give it to your dog, and what does your dog do with it?
Yeah, they'll chew on it all day.
Yeah, they'll chew on it all day and they'll devour it and they'll leave it without a trace. That's because nature has specifically designed Mr. Dog. Hey, Mr. Dog, your teeth go up and down. You're a carnivore, so you can eat this. You have more pressure in your jaws. Human beings only have 150 psi of pressure. That's nothing. All right, nothing is you're not going to bite through anything in 150 psi with flat teeth, right? So that's why we elect to throw the bone away. All right, so that's nature. That's a sign that nature is telling you. Our digestive tract is super, super long, super long. So if you take me and you gut me, I'm going to go about 27 feet, right? If you take a dog and you take all of its intestines out, you're going to go about 12 feet. There is a reason for that. The reason for that is because nature has specifically said you have a long digestive tract for digesting plant matter, and a dog has a short digestive tract for digesting rotting flesh. Right, that's because it's short because I want to get this rotting flesh out of my body quickly. But human beings, we have a long digestive tract. And that long digestive tract over the years, right, putting the wrong fuel source into your body, right, fermenting over the years, guess what happens? As the years go by, that's when you develop this thing called colon cancer, right? Or you develop some other irritable bowel syndrome simply because your body has been talking to you all these years and saying, hey, the fuel source that you're giving me, I'm not jiving with it. No way, right? Put the right fuel source into your body, right? So there's signs within nature that says that you're a plant eater, right? And I'll give you a last scenario. I don't know how much time we have, but I'll give you a last scenario. I want you to play along.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Right. So a 2-year-old human being, 2-year-old baby, if you take a 2-year-old baby and you put him in the crib and you're like, okay, I don't have time. I got to go do laundry. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. And a 2-year-old baby, you put an apple and you put a live bunny rabbit in the crib with the baby. You come back 2 hours later. Which one is the baby going to play with? And which one is the baby going to eat? So you have an apple and you have a live bunny rabbit. What do you think?
It's got to be the apple, and I cannot imagine a baby would be there like devouring the rabbit entrails and all of that. It just, right? I mean,
would you agree that a 2-year-old human being does not know anything about anything? Like they're not, they can comprehend things, but nature's just going to tell them what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So nature told that human baby to go ahead and eat that apple, right? So you said he's going to eat the apple and play with the bunny rabbit. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to take it and I'm going to switch the scenario. This time I'm going to take the 2-year-old human baby out and I'm going to put a 2-year-old lion or 2-year-old tiger in there. So I have that same live bunny rabbit and I have the same apple. You come back 2 hours later, which one is the lion going to play with and which one is the lion going to eat?
Yeah, for sure. The rabbit is what it would eat.
He's going to eat the rabbit, right? And you come back and it's probably going to be a scene. You're probably going to make, oh my God, I forgot. Like, what was I thinking? You'll probably be mad at yourself because you're like, what was I thinking? I know that this is a lion, right? He eats bunny rabbits, right? Because nature told him to do that, right? It would be the weirdest thing in the world if you came back and you saw that lion was eating an apple and making buddies with the bunny rabbit. It'd be crazy, right? And it would be the craziest thing in the world if you came back 2 hours later and you saw a human baby eating a live bunny rabbit, but yet he's playing with an apple. You'd be like, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, right? So nature told, again, 2 years old, you don't know anything about anything. Only thing that's going to guide you is nature. So nature told him, that baby, human baby, eat the apple, AKA eat the vegetation, AKA eat the plants. And it told that lion, hey, Mr. Lion, AKA carnivore, eat the rabbit because this is what I designed you this way to be able to eat rabbits, right? Everything about your anatomy says you're a carnivore, and everything about a human being says that you're designed to eat plants, everything, right? So it would be the weirdest thing in the world if you came back and you saw that baby eating that bunny rabbit. So my point is if you fast forward 10 years, one thing you would probably say if you saw that human baby eating that, you'd probably say, oh, that baby's going to get sick, right? You probably say that. If you saw that baby eating that live bunny rabbit, you probably say, oh, that baby's going to get sick. Right? Yeah. And it's the same thing for the human being. I mean, when we get older, there's no difference. If you fast forward 10 years, if you fast forward 20 years, if you fast forward 30 years, now we're in our 40s, now we're in our 50s, now we're in our 60s. It doesn't change. Your body doesn't change. The only thing that's changing is we're cooking the bunny rabbit now. So instead of eating the bunny rabbit raw, we're actually cooking the bunny rabbit. But the point is, you're still going to get sick, right? So that's why everybody that pretty much most human beings die unnaturally. Like there's you never get saying like, oh, he was 100 years old and he just died of natural causes. Like it hardly ever happens. It happens, but it hardly ever happens. I say that to say that it is unnatural for human beings to consume other animals because that is not the way nature intended for it. And it's the same thing in the water. Do you know any human beings that can breathe underwater?
No.
None. Like in the history of human beings, are there any human beings that can naturally breathe underwater? Yeah. No. And if you ever tried to catch a fish with your bare hand, it's the most impossible thing in the world to do. Yeah. So, I can't catch a fish because they swim a lot faster than me. Human beings can only swim 4.7 miles an hour. I'm talking about Michael Phelps at the Olympics, 4.7 miles per hour. That is nothing in
Wow.
the ocean, nothing.
Yep.
So I can't breathe underwater. I can't swim fast enough to catch the fish. And if I do catch the fish, what am I going to do? I can't like take the scales and eat it right then. A shark doesn't have to do that. He just eats it right then and there. It's good. He goes on about his business. And it's the same thing for lions. They don't have to take it to the stove. They just eat it right then and there because that's what nature has designed for them to do. So everything about human anatomy says that you were designed to eat plants. So that's the
Yeah.
that's
That's
what I discovered in my studies.
that is incredible, by going with the laws of nature and then finding a way to use that to feed your body the right fuel. Then it's just a matter of time, right? I mean, the gradual trend of the weight going down, down, down. Did you find that the weight would just gradually go down, 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 or was like this slope off point where you just started dropping a lot of weight? Or what was that like during that 70-pound experience?
So
Or
within
what
the
was
first within the first 3-4 months, I'd probably lost about 40 pounds. Within the
wow,
first
that's
within
a
the first
lot.
Yeah, because my body it just went through a change. I just got super like I tell people I just got crazy with it, right? I just went all the way in, like there is no turning back. I on midnight on New Year's Eve we binged ate. We went on New Year's Eve of last year. So we binged ate like the entire month of December. We just ate whatever we wanted and just like when the 1st of January came, I just went on a crazy mission.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so then, like I said, the weight just started coming at the first 3-4 months. The weight came off quickly, but
Mm.
as the rest of the year went on, I probably lost about 25 pounds. The rest of
Mm.
the year, 25 to 30 pounds. So it was coming off slowly after, but I was well within a normal BMI at that point.
Okay. And then during that time, what was your exercise routine, or was there one?
It was the same. It was the exact same as I was when I was 70 pounds overweight. I didn't
Which
change
was
it.
which was what?
I was doing a lot of this was during COVID, right? So we had a lot of stay-at-home orders. So I was doing literally a lot of workout videos like Sean T, P90X, kettlebell workouts, going outside,
So
running,
you're getting your heart
getting the
rate up and
bag.
you're moving, but because you weren't eating all this terrible food, the weight was dropping rather than at a standstill, which is what a lot of people do if they don't change what they're eating, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I tried for the years to lose the weight. I lose the weight, gain weight. But by the time I hit 40, there was no more losing the weight. It was only gaining weight. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Well, I appreciate you coming on to share some of these insights. It was really, really good information. I know a lot of our listeners are gonna really get a lot out of that. For those that would like to connect with you or follow you online further, what's the best way to reach out and connect?
Best way to find me is on Instagram on that one determined vegan on Instagram. So it's one underscore determined underscore vegan. So one determined vegan. Also, you can find me at onedeterminedvegan.com. But mainly, if you really want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Instagram and at one determined vegan.
Cool. Well, thanks again, Kelly, for coming on and sharing some insights with our listeners here. This is great.
Thank you very much, my good sir. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you got it. All right, for all of our listeners, thanks for joining us here today. You can get the show notes to this episode, and we'll link up Kelly's Instagram account on the show notes and the other resources that we mentioned. You can do that by going to askjeremyjones.com, click on podcast, and you'll see this episode right at the top. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.